Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pedigree, a professional wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Ray, and I am joined with my co-host, Jimmy. What is going on, Jimmy?
You know, man, just another busy day over here in the household. But I'm ready to talk some wrestling, man. I'm ready to get it on. I'm ready to get that, sink in that iron claw, if you will.
Hey, speaking of Iron Claws, guys, we got a great show for you today. We're going to talk Iron Claw. We're going to talk SmackDown recap, news and rumors in the wrestling community, and of course, there's a leaked Royal Rumble card that has hit the interwebs, Jimmy. So we'll go over that to see if it's legit or not legit. But Jimmy, we'll start it off with this way. Let's start off with talking about the Iron Claw, the movie produced by A24. If you guys don't know, A24 is kind of like the, I don't know, they've been making some moves in like the movie making business. I don't know what you would call it. But what do you think about the move? The producing business, exactly. So, yeah, thank you, Jimmy. So, if you don't know, the Iron Claw is about a wrestling family, the Von Erichs, which in this movie, it's 4 brothers. But in reality, they had 6 brothers overall. And only one of the 6 brothers is currently with us today. So, it's kind of like a biopic starring Zac Efron and... I can't remember the other guy's name. Jeremy Allen White, which is you ever seen the show Bear on Hulu, Jimmy?
Yes, my son actually loved that.
Bro, that show is awesome.
Yeah, so he's actually one of my wife's and my son's favorite actors. So that was part of why my wife wanted to go see it. She loves his acting is what she loved.
Well, good. Oh, and that's right. So you saw the movie before I did.
Yes.
And then you gave me the thumbs up. You're like, Ray, go see the movie. I took my wife as well. Here's the thing about my wife. My wife loves like feel good movies, things that are like inspiring. She came out of the movie theater. She was like, this movie was terrible. It was the worst feel bad movie I've ever felt in my life.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I said brutal. I mean, that's what I meant. That's what I meant by brutal. It was not feel good at all.
No, it was brutal. And guys, we don't want to, again, I guess I kind of already spoiled it, Jimmy, but, what did you think about the movie? And what I'm curious what Sonia thought about the movie. If you don't know, Sonia is, Jimmy's wife.
Yeah.
So
let me start off by saying, like, because you had mentioned before that, like, it was kind of common, for a wrestling fan, it's common knowledge of the story of the Von Erichs, and it wasn't for me.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you. Now, did I grow up watching them? Yes, on the WCCW, like, reruns and stuff, for sure, on ESPN. I love that. It was WCCW, right? Is that what they...
Correct. Yeah, this is the Dallas Sportatorium territory at the time, which, like we talked about in the last episode, it was an NWA affiliate.
Yeah.
Which, in this case, the whole point was these kids were trying to rise to the top to be able to challenge for the NWA Heavyweight Championship, which at that time, Jimmy, like we were talking about last week, was its prime. Like
it was the pinnacle.
The pinnacle. That was the belt that you chased after.
So I thought, let me start by saying, like, I thought because I didn't know that, I enjoyed this movie. That helped me enjoy it. Like, I didn't. Some of the stuff was surprising to me. Now, did I know a couple things? Yes, but I was shocked to find out quite a few things, and how, like you said, how tragic this story is. Like, I was blown away by some of the things that happened to this family. Like, Kerry, the Texas tornado. Did I know that he wrestled with those injuries? I did not.
Oh yeah, right.
I never
he didn't have a leg.
Yeah.
So
they really go in depth into that in the movie. And I'm like, I had no idea that he actually wrestled in the WWF with that. I mean, it's a seriously bad injury that he wrestled with.
Mm-hmm.
So that surprised me. I had no idea. Sonia, who didn't have any idea who these guys were, had no
Mm-hmm.
clue. She knew who the actors were. That's all she knew about them. Who was playing who? She really enjoyed the movie because she she likes to get any whatever emotion it's bringing. She like if a movie brings her to emotions, she enjoys it.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what, I looked over there multiple times, and she looked like she was about to yell out, "Adrian!" Like she was just all
Yeah.
and crying the whole time because it was really emotional. Like it was hard to watch, but I'm kind of the same way. I don't want to say hard to watch in a bad way, but it was. But it brought emotion out of you, right? Like it made you react, and it was brutal though. Yeah,
Yeah. Brutal to say the least. And if you haven't watched the movie and you're listening to this and you're a wrestling fan, it is a good biopic. I'm like, of course, they take liberties, and I think
yeah, yeah,
the real life story of all this is like way more tragic. Like I was talking to Jimmy earlier,
yeah.
there was one more besides the I don't know. Did you know how the little boy died, Jimmy?
I did not know.
So at the time when they were young, they were living in like Niagara Falls and in a trailer park, and the boy slipped on ice, landed in a puddle of like defrosted water, and got electrocuted.
What
And that's how the little boy
the
passed away.
the oldest brother that
The
none of them
oldest
really,
brother.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how he passed away. And then which is way more tragic than he just passed away when he was like 6 years old. Like they don't get into that. And then for instance, Mike, the one in the movie where he was like the musician and all that stuff, they it lasts the when he, you know, passed away, it took like 3 days for them to find him. And they had like this statewide
Oh
like
wow.
search for him. So that was like way more. And
Now,
then
how accurate was it that he really didn't want to be a wrestler? Because I don't want to try to spoil it, but
I don't think it was that accurate because it was a family business. But
right,
he didn't have what it took to become a wrestler.
right, right.
So that was, and in this picture, it's the one on the left, the far left. That was Mike. So it's Mike. In the middle is gosh, was it Kevin? In the back is
Kevin,
David, and then
David,
on the right
and
is
Terry.
Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then for Carrie, um he was going to go to prison for I can't remember what he
No, I,
did.
oh, dang it. What was? Oh man, it's gonna drive me
I can't
crazy.
remember what it
I
was.
I just I read up on it after the movie, and
Yeah,
yeah,
so he was going to go to prison, and that kind of like instigated him like just go ahead and doing what he did
yeah,
to and kill shoot himself. And then again there was even a younger brother, his name was Chris, and he shot himself as well. And David, which that story was correct, he did go to Japan, and that's when he
right.
passed away from the intestine stuff. So that's the real
Yeah,
story there. But uh, so sidebar, so you got to see one of the characters during the movie. His name was Bruiser Brody,
yep, yeah,
which it was kind of like the big guy with like the crazy hair, huge
yep.
in Japan. So he was the one that found David. And later on, I don't know if it was the same year or the year after, he gets murdered in like the wrestling locker room, like in the bathroom.
What?
Yeah, so that like the same. So it's weird. If you ever see like there's these documentaries. They used to come on like on Vice. You can probably find them on YouTube. Dark Side of the Ring, of like
I
all the
actually watched Dark
weird,
Side of the Ring. Yeah,
yeah, man, like all the weird and tragic things that occurred. I think the
yeah,
Von
yeah.
Erichs was one of the stories, but
I'm gonna have to watch that. 'Cause I haven't watched
yeah,
the Von
man.
Erich.
And then one of the things that I wish they would have focused on even more is just the overall popularity of the Von Erichs. And they kind of hinted a little bit of them being like on the pro wrestling magazines, but they were literally
Yes.
Backstreet Boys, like like Jackson 5,
And
Michael
it's a
Jackson status in Texas.
in Texas, but like ESPN reruns were a big part of why I knew who all of them were.
See,
I
I
knew
never got to experience that, Jimmy. Just and so, in your
telling you,
perspective, like, how was that? Like, for me, thinking that wrestling was on ESPN, like, that's mind blowing to me.
yeah. So I had so when they did that intro in the movie of the WCCW, like the intro that they had that ESPN used to play, like it was a total nostalgic moment for me.
That's cool.
Um, growing up, like I didn't have a lot of options. There was no streaming. I've lucky to have cable, and then there just wasn't a lot of options of things to watch. I watched a lot of Chicago Cubs baseball and a lot of reruns of wrestling because that's there just wasn't a lot on cable even back then. And so I just remember I'm pretty sure my brother watched it with me, and I remember, like you said, like I don't remember all the characters from that wrestling, but I remember the Von Erichs for sure. Like they were the name of that, like they would come to the ring as brothers and stuff, and it was just like, stop, the Von Erichs are here. They're gonna handle some business. So I was definitely younger. I was a kid, so I don't remember all the details of it, but I definitely remember them being the stars, like they were the big name. And I remember Kevin not wearing his shoes, like that was a big part of his thing. Was
That's so weird, right?
he never wore shoes? Yeah. And so like instantly when I saw them, we were like, yep, I know exactly. I remember watching them. Yep, no shoes. And I remember Kerry being like the one that he was like the most fit, like the best athlete of the bunch. He was. Is that true that he was an Olympian too? That's wild that he was an Olympian, right?
I didn't know that, which was
Yeah.
intriguing to me. That was, one of the things, like the father in the movie harked on, because
Yeah.
the father got hurt and he was really good in football, and that's how he ended up going.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, Jimmy, that they didn't touch on this at all during the movie, the father, Fritz Von Erich. So originally the Von Erich name was his grandma's name or something like that, last name, and he took it because it sounded more like a Nazi name. And so that was his gimmick when he wrestled. He was a Nazi because he was a bad guy.
Wow.
And so he thought, what was the most hated thing in the world right now? And that was his gimmick. Wow. Until he dropped it and then became like a Texas like family man, more of gimmick with his sons. But they say that could have been like some bad juju on, playing a Nazi, kind of thing.
Yeah, they did not talk about that. And that's it was another time, and that's way before our time. But I would imagine that must not went over too well.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised they didn't mention it, because with the name Fritz Von Erich, that's what you kind of, like a German kind of name. But so what did you think? Do you think that Zac Efron will get like an Oscar nominee or anything like that? How do you think he did in the movie?
I think he should. I think I do have a little bit of trouble because I would say based on that ending alone, yes. Like that ending, good night.
Mm-hmm.
Like I looked over Sonya, she was just like, and the lady behind me, I could hear her bawling. Like he was amazing in that last, 5-10 minutes of the movie. But I think, reading up and I've been seeing, actually TikTok has been showing me a lot of stuff with Kevin now and him talking and about who he was and how he was a family man, more of the family man of the brothers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zac Efron did a really good job of making you feel that way about him in the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, I see that. Like that's how I felt when I watched the movie, is that's who he was. So I think it was a pretty good. I think it was a really good performance.
Yeah.
There's some things that aren't great. I think I was like, what is this Ric Flair mess? Like, what?
Bro, that's the first thing that my wife and I, like, I heard some giggles during the movie theater and we just looked at each other and the actor that played Ric Flair, did you even watch anything that Ric Flair has done? Like,
Yeah,
you could have got anybody to play Ric
you
Flair.
could have got me or you. We would have done a better job.
We would have done a better
We'd
job
be like,
doing the
yeah, that's the
cutting the
morbid.
promo, acting the way he does. Like, the
It was
blonde hair
pretty.
was off. Like,
It was that was almost as brutal as the ending of the movie.
yeah,
So some of the cast, like that casting job, was terrible. I did see
terrible.
MJF in there. He was wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which you saw him just like a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why not try? I don't even care. Like at that point,
MJF could have done a better
yeah,
job.
because the guy that they chose didn't look anything like him, didn't act anything like him.
Nothing.
It didn't have his build. Nothing was Ric Flair about him. So why not at that point just use MJF, because he would have done a way better job.
Even the woos were like,
I was like,
not
well,
Ric Flair woos.
Jeff Jarrett not available. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, like Deuce, like someone.
Yes.
It was literally like if so, Ric Flair is like one of the biggest names of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like it was like someone happened to want to dress up as Ric Flair as like a Halloween costume, and like that's who played Ric Flair.
It was pretty bad.
It was horrendous.
And so, I'm not familiar, like I'm not that familiar with some of the other wrestlers that were portrayed in there, so I don't know how they were portrayed, but I just knew that was terrible.
The guy that played Harley Race.
Harley Race. Okay, yeah.
Harley Race.
Yeah, he did he did a really good job. Yep. So that was interesting. That I just didn't even understand where they were going with that. We got to fix your camera, man.
There we go. It was focusing on the wrong thing.
All right.
So,
did you enjoy it then? Though,
I did, but it was like you said, it was sad. I really enjoyed the overall, I don't know, I wouldn't say like vibe, but the artistic approach to like the camera angles and the overall like emotion that it was trying to portray for the movie, like just like really slow shots of the farm and just like real like weird, like even in the ring sometimes you didn't get like a clear view of the ring. It would almost be like the camera would sit in between the hall of two stands and like you could you can see the ring, or it would be like the camera would be in the room and then the actors would be like in another room and they would just like this a different like artistic approach of like almost like uneasiness and just like we were just kind of like flies on the wall. I don't know. What do you think, Jimmy?
No, I felt like the exact same thing. Like the in the same breath, there would be times where like it was in ring action. They like the camera was too close to the, like they were getting into like zoom, like zoomed. Like when we watch wrestling, we never see the wrestlers that close. So like
which it felt it feels uneasy.
Yeah,
and like you're trying to like figure out what's going on and like.
Right. It'd be like if there was a cameraman in the ring while they're wrestling. And so that was a little different. Like, but that's just because I think we're like just so programmed to watch wrestling how we watch it on TV. To have a cameraman in the ring felt weird. So yeah, I mean, but I thought like the vibe of it being like the early 80s or whatever, or the 70s, like that definitely had that feel to it. And I just, the whole family and at the house, I didn't really notice a lot of that stuff. I was pretty just drawn into the whole movie. So I didn't really notice a lot of and that's weird because I'm usually looking at editing and video techniques. So that was kind of weird that I didn't notice.
You need to go back and watch it because just like, for instance, like the scene where Carrie gets on his motorcycle and you just see like the camera just like on the road.
Oh yeah, on the road. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see the camera just on his face, and then you don't know what happens, right? Until he wakes up the next morning. Which, another thing, I get it's the 70s, but man, we saw way too many tighty whities during this movie.
Yes, yeah, we did. They must have been known for walking around in their tighty whities.
But just camera shots of like him. It's like in the kitchen, it's like pointing at the refrigerator and he's coming around the corner and then it's like, bro, he doesn't have a leg,
Yeah. that was wild, man. Like I said, and then that was like so. The acting was so raw, like how he was trying to adjust because he still wanted to wrestle,
Yeah.
and he's trying to adjust, and
Oh,
he's
brutal.
trying to wrestle with one foot. Like he literally has a boot strapped onto his ankle that he's no foot from the ankle down. Like he's trying to wrestle and he wants to continue his career, and like he's working with his brother to try to figure it out. And it, man, is and like early on, he just couldn't even he could barely stand, and then he wants to wrestle still. Like yeah, so like again, that me not knowing that, like that was so interesting to me. I was like, I had no, because imagine I watched wrestling back then. I knew who the Texas Tornado was. I was like, there's no way he won like the Intercontinental Championship with 1 foot, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So what do you give the movie overall, Jimmy? 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10, 10 being good.
10 being the best. 10 being like your favorite movie in the entire
I mean,
planet.
it's not going to be my favorite movie. I'll give it a 9 though. I really
a 9. That's high.
Yeah, I really liked. Now I have something like Zac Efron. Weirdly, is one of my favorite actors. Like
really.
Dude, I love The Greatest Showman. That's one of my favorite movies. Yeah,
I've never seen that movie. That's the musical, right?
It's a musical. Yeah,
he's in that movie.
Yeah, he's in there with
Hugh Jackman.
Huh?
Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, with Hugh Jackman. Yeah, he's in there. He's his business partner. Come on, you haven't seen?
I've never seen the movie.
You got to watch Greatest Showman.
My wife was trying to get me to watch it the other day, and I was like, I don't know. That's a good movie, Jimmy.
It's a feel good. That's a feel good movie. That's why your wife likes it. Then that's a feel. It's just I don't know. It's not great, but I actually really like it.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going way. Yeah. So I enjoyed his acting, and I think this is his best performance to date for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the actor that played the dad, I thought he did a really good job.
He did great.
And even the mom, how she was just kind of off the whole time.
She was just like, I think, you could tell, like since her like when their first son passed away, you could tell she was like
changed her, right?
Just like just living 1 foot at a time, head in the clouds, just trying to grasp.
She did a good job of that.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of weird. I feel like I could talk for this while. So like her performance, the dad's performance, the performance of Kevin, and then even the performance of Michael. I don't even know who that actor was that played.
I don't know either, but you're right.
But then you thought, I don't think Carrie. I don't think he did a great job as Carrie. I think he was just okay. And then the other brother,
David.
He wasn't a big part of the story, right? So
yeah.
But those 4 performances were so good. Yeah, that's part of my score. Yeah.
And even the girlfriend or the wife, Pam.
Oh yeah, yeah. She did a really good job too. Yep. Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Now, enjoyed it in the fact that it brought a lot of emotion out of me.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of laughter. There wasn't a lot of smiling on my face, but it brought emotions, anger, and sadness out of me for sure.
Oh man, that's what wrestling does, right, Jimmy?
What about you? What's your score for that?
I would probably give it a solid 7.
Solid 7. All right.
Yeah, solid 7. Solid 7.
I'm right there with you.
Considering that, like the best movie in the world is like a 10. Like a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not like a movie that I would watch like all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like down the road, is it a movie that is it one of those movies that when it's on TV you can watch it just because it's on, like Shawshank Redemption? Like when Shawshank Redemption's on, I'll just watch it because it's on.
Okay. Yeah, that's not one of my movies. That will not be one of my movies. I
don't know yet.
But something that is something that comes on a regular basis, Jimmy, that I always like to watch is SmackDown on Friday nights. So let's give a little bit of recap on SmackDown on Friday. We have AJ Styles starting off the show. Now AJ, he's trying to do this, like he's wrestling with pants and this dark coat. I think he's going to turn heel. I don't know. Thoughts, Jimmy?
Again, I'm just learning AJ Styles. I think Yeah, I don't know. I think he's talented enough. I think he's gonna do it. I think he'll be good, but they'll be like this. For me, it'll be easier to understand because I don't know a lot about him before. So like for
Okay.
me, he's got the look. He's already got he's got that feel already just from what I've learned from him watching him early on. Like the way he turned, he did a good job. When he turned on, was it Raw that he showed up and he turned
Yeah.
on? Who did he turn on again?
Was it LA Knight? Which
LA Knight. Yep, LA
this
Knight. Yeah.
leads me to, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. They're both wanting to get a match with Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. So the commissioner, Nick Aldis, former NWA champion Nick Aldis, um, put on a match not next week, not this week, but the following week, because I think they're off this week. 3-way match on SmackDown for a chance to wrestle Roman Reigns at the main event at the Royal Rumble.
Uh-oh.
Who do you got during this match? Three-way, Jimmy. There's Nick Aldis right there.
If I tell you that I've seen the leaked card, then I can't.
Oh right, I don't even know what the leaked card said.
So I'm not going to say who you pick since I haven't.
Oh, I remember seeing it, but I didn't know. I would like to see Randy Orton in that spot.
I think I'm not going to tell you. You haven't looked at the leaked card?
I looked at it, but I don't remember seeing
maybe
that
the
match.
Leaked card isn't right.
But we'll definitely get into that. We'll look at the league card at the end of the show, which we'll dive great into that. But then we have this weird women's match, which it was like a Christmas match, and there was kendo sticks and presents and all kinds of shenanigans, candy canes, and this women's tag team made their debut, which they're from NXT.
Yep.
I don't remember the name of the tag team, so please forgive me, tag team. And of course, the baby faces go over. But it was a fun match overall. But this match, Jimmy, we have our boy, I can't remember, Pete Dunne. Is it Pete Dunne? I can't remember. Yeah, Pete Dunne versus Dragon Lee. So these are some new. Pete Dunne's been around for a while. Dragon Lee, or Butch. His name is Butch. Sorry, Butch. I think his former character was Pete Dunne.
All right.
But I digress. Dragon Lee, they're giving him a heck of a push, Jimmy. But this match was freaking fire. These are two technicians that went at it, and it was good stuff. It was good stuff.
Dragon Lee's already super entertaining to watch, and he's the one that took the belt from
from Dominic.
Dominic, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's getting a huge push, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. And I think he's definitely an up-and-coming star.
Yeah, they've always failed with these Mexican wrestlers that don't know English very well. So like that translation just kind of falls short with the promos and stuff like that. But I think this guy can do well. And he of course won. It was a great match. So
how is he on the microphone?
He's okay. He's still learning. Of course, it's an NXT guy moving up, and he's kind of getting his feet wet. But the next match, Jimmy, our boy Kevin Owens versus Carmelo Hayes. For a chance, they're doing this little tournament for the U.S. Championship belt. So this is one of the semifinals match. So the winner will be wrestling Logan Paul at Royal Rumble for the U.S. Championship belt.
Right.
So Carmelo Hayes, a NXT call-up, and of course Kevin Owens is fire. What do you think about Kevin Owens?
What do I think about Kevin Owens? Like someone was ragging on him. It was actually Paul Logan. It was Paul who did a thing about how he looks like a wrestler from the DX era or whatever, the 90s. He's a
Yeah.
reject left over from the '90s era. Kevin Owens does look like just somebody's uncle in the wrestling ring. Like he doesn't have the look of a wrestler, but he's great. Like
He
he's
can
great.
go.
He's a real he. It's like always one of those things that I've been like jealous of to see it. You know, he's not huge like me. He's not a big guy, but he's still a bigger guy, and the way he moves, and he's not like all fit like these other wrestlers, and he can move and wrestle just as well as any of them.
Oh yeah. Do you remember Bam Bam Bigelow?
Oh yeah,
And
yep.
that man can move.
Right. Who's the guy right now? There's a couple of them in WWE right now, and they're actually feuding right now. One of them was the guy from that Barbarian group,
Oh yeah. I
and
can't
then
remember.
yeah, I can't remember their names, but they both can. They're both big guys, and they can wrestle like crazy.
Yes, I know
And to see
exactly
them
who you're
like
talking
jumping
about.
off the top ropes and being agile, I'm like, well, that's not fair.
Yeah. So, and of course, the other U.S. or the other semifinals match, Bobby Lashley versus
The heel, the heel. Right,
I can't remember his name. Why am I drawing a blank?
he's the one that just left the LWO and turned on he
On
just
Ray
turned on Ray.
Escobar.
Okay, Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar. So Escobar's got some good stuff. And speaking of the LWO, Jimmy, got two members of the LWO came in and helped Escobar win the match against Bobby Lashley.
So what does that mean?
So next time on SmackDown, it'll be Escobar versus Kevin Owens for a chance at the U.S. title at Royal Rumble against Logan Paul.
Why is LWO helping Escobar though if he's turned on them?
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know
how the wrestling world turns.
And so the main event was AJ Styles versus Solo Sikoa. Or is it Sikoa? Sikoa?
I think it's Sikoa.
Sikoa. And of course, the match ended in a DQ. Roman Reigns getting involved. And so there you go. And then Randy Orton and LA Knight came in to help him out. And again, that's leading up to the match, the 3-way match. 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
And 2 weeks. It won't be this Friday because it's like pre-recorded or whatever.
Yeah,
They took a break
for the holiday.
Which is weird because during the Vince McMahon era, they would be working to a T.
So yeah, right. Yeah, there would be no. Yeah, they would all be working. They would have worked Monday. Yeah, for sure.
They would be working.
So we're talking about Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles versus the Bloodline.
No, they're all wrestling each other. 3-way match.
Oh, that 3-way match. Oh, I got 3-way match for the spot in the Royal Rumble.
Correct. For the spot for the main event.
Gotcha. And that's going to be a match against Roman Reigns. I understood you, but I misunderstood you.
Yeah. I said it a little weird.
So that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I would, man, for sure. Out of those three, let me see Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just because out of those three, he's my favorite, and that dude is jacked right now. Like he came back in a machine.
He's looking fantastic.
I'll take that for sure.
Someone else is looking fantastic, Jimmy. We'll get into the news and rumors portion of the podcast. There's some crazy news and rumors coming out of the WWE, Jimmy. Allegedly, Triple H had said that he's trying to make a major push for someone that is left the company and is returning in 2024. And the rumors say that could be nobody other than our girl Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks. What are your thoughts on Sasha Banks?
Sasha Banks coming back to WWE.
coming back to WWE from Japan. There was rumors that she was going to go to AEW, maybe Impact Wrestling, but all the dirt sheets and reports are saying that Sasha Banks, because she's a Triple H guy.
Yeah,
She when Triple H was running NXT at the time, Sasha Banks was one of their top stars, and
right.
I think they have a really good rapport and relationship. And but they said that Sasha Banks wants a ton of money to come back, but she is one of the top tier talents. I
Right.
would say women in the wrestling business, especially with Charlotte being injured for at
Charlotte's
least
hurt.
6 months. I think that is a great pickup. And to add fuel to the fire, Sasha Banks sent out this tweet or this X saying happy holidays. All I want for Christmas is Monet. But if you see how she have written it, the happy holidays.
H. Oh boy, this is fun. I'm not
You
gonna
think
lie.
this is on purpose or accident, Jimmy?
I mean, come on, happy. Who
Who puts two happies?
Who puts two happies? Yeah, that's pretty. That's like encrypted right there.
Right?
I think you're onto something. Now, did you come up with that three H's, or did you see that someone said?
No, that she tweeted that.
Oh, okay, but did you put two and two together there? Are you the one that said, "Hey,
No.
Triple H"?
It's that's why it's
Part
reported.
of that article right
you know?
there. All right.
Yeah.
I think, I've. It's not that I don't like women wrestling. I just don't like the way it's going right now. I think I've said this before, I'm a huge fan of Rhea Ripley, and I think Rhea Ripley is gonna be like this superstar. And I think
I mean, we all know that we all have the hots for Rhea Ripley, so that's okay.
duh. But from a wrestling standpoint, I think you need to surround her with as much talent as possible for her to challenge and for people to feud with her. Like, she needs to have
Correct.
good. It can't just be garbage that she's feuding with all the time. Like, there need to be good women wrestlers in WWE so they can grow this star. Like, that's
correct.
And so, yeah, bring her on, because I think it could add to what I think where I'm going to start enjoying it more, the women's side of it. And there are some really good stars right now. I just don't think they're using it all correctly.
Yeah, you got to build it. Yeah, and you have to have some seasoned. I mean, Rhea Ripley's been wrestling since 16 years old.
Wow. She knows what she's doing in every possible way. She's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I agree. She's already a superstar.
I know. But I'm talking like, so that let's kind of go a little bit off, because we talked a little bit about that and like what is a superstar. So I guess I'm not saying it the way I mean to say it. Like, I'm talking household name type of superstar.
Gotcha.
Like, you know how we talked a little bit about, I don't think Roman Reigns is a household name.
You don't think Roman, like if you were to take a normal person off the street and you ask them, name 5 wrestlers off the top of your head, they'll probably say The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, maybe Ric Flair, and then The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Right? Like who else would you think?
John Cena, I think, is
John Cena.
Yep. And so I think, my opinion, I think there's a huge drop off after those top 5 or 6 that everybody knows, and then there's the next level. And I think Roman Reigns is at that next level. I don't think he's a household name I remember, like my wife would be a perfect example. If I say do you know who Roman Reigns is? She'd be like, who? But if I said, hey, do you remember the female wrestler Chyna? She'd be like, oh yeah, I remember Chyna, yeah, because she was more. And so that's kind of where I'm going with that. I just feel like she's going to be that level eventually. I think she's going to be that level.
But what do you think made Chyna because she wrestled men. Like, what was it that made her that superstar? I mean, her cover on Playboy magazine. You know,
Like
like
heard,
just
yeah, because I think I had never seen anything like I had never seen that strong of a woman wrestle before. I had never seen
mhm.
anything like it. Like you said, she could compete with the men. She wasn't bad at her, her mic skills or whatever you want to call her ability to talk and carry a feud or whatever. And then they mixed her with the right group with DX. I mean, it was all just a recipe for success.
Yeah. You think really Rhea Ripley can be that next breakout
I
superstar, breaking out to the main stream?
It's just like one of those things where when you hear a good song and you just know that that's going to be a hit song,
Mm.
like watching her perform the way she wrestles, the way she's already in for what I'm drawing a blank right now for the group.
The leader.
Yeah,
Oh, the name of the group.
yeah,
The Judgment Day. Is
Judgment
it?
Day. See, that happens to me all the time. She's already like give her the mic. Like don't even give anybody else when they're talking. And she's the leader. Like she's the
Mm-hmm.
best at in that group at talking and representing what they want to do. I don't want to overkill it though because I feel like
Hey, I'm a
I'm
Rhea Ripley
overthrowing
fan
that
too,
topic.
Jimmy. I'm there on. What do you think will happen once because she can't be the mommy gimmick forever.
No, that group will break up. I mean, just like every group, it'll fall apart eventually, right? And it could be 3 years before she's this household name. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
take some time. It doesn't happen overnight. Like The Rock wasn't a household name for right away. And all of them, they were never right off the bat. It took some time. It took some working. But I can't express enough. WWE doesn't have that right now. Like they just don't. They don't have that household name wrestler on their roster. I mean, CM Punk might be the closest. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of CM Punk, Jimmy, I love our segues here.
I
CM
didn't
Punk,
even mean to do that.
yeah, CM Punk finally wrestled.
Yeah, and
First time wrestling at
live performance.
Madison Square Garden. And then something that happened during the match, he had a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Jimmy,
What?
he did not
Yeah.
get his gear in time to wrestle
No
at
way.
Madison Square Garden, so he had to wrestle. He had to wrestle in black trunks and just black everything, nothing on it. Very like generic wrestler.
Uh-huh.
So he had his first match and beat Dominic at Madison Square Garden, and then I think this week they're going to wrestle somewhere in LA again, and of course he won. And I don't know, Phil or CM Punk. He's always had this like weird skinny fat look,
Yeah.
but like he looks not good. You
Well,
know,
I
like
was watching him in AEW some back when, and I like he definitely looks not as fit, and he's just looking a little bit older. And I don't think this is a big window with him, being back and being this major superstar. But maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe he needs to. Maybe they'll help him hit the gym. I don't know. How do you? I don't know. How do you make?
I don't know.
Something
I mean, in WWE you have you have access to the top tier people in any industry, nutritionists, trainers, things like that, and I think he needs to get in better shape,
Yeah.
and I think maybe that's why they're just seeing how he does away from TV on his first
That's a
match,
good point. That's a good point.
and see if he can actually go, and then his first match back will probably be on TV. Maybe the Raw before Royal Rumble, and then leading up to the Royal Rumble,
Any chance did he play Ric Flair in the Iron Claw?
right?
that's the body that he's rocking right now.
Exactly.
When I was so when he was in AEW and I was watching it, and that's why I was a little confused by how big of a deal that he came back. Other than the nostalgia of it, like he looked old, he looked like one of the old guys in AEW that was just kind of like going there to finish off their career. He didn't. I didn't look at him as like a guy that still has it while he was over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still a little puzzled by it, but and seeing this picture and how you're talking about it, it feels a little bit like that. Maybe like they got some work to do to get him over.
And he probably knows that.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, he didn't come back like Randy Orton, that's for sure.
Exactly. Or AJ Styles.
Or see, that's so there you go. That's a good point. Like he doesn't. And so
I think that AJ Styles may be older than CM Punk, if I'm not mistaken.
Would never guess it. And that's a great point that you just made, and I kind of help you make by accident. Is like Randy Orton comes back. This dude looks ripped, and were people excited? Yeah, it was. And then AJ Styles come back, and he looks ripped, and then people are excited. CM Punk comes back, and it's all over my TikTok. It's all every news feed. It's everywhere, and I'm just like, yeah, but he doesn't look ready to like.
He doesn't look ready to go.
Ready to wrestle as those other guys.
Exactly. So
and then
Randy Orton
have his gear.
Exactly.
Did he get pranked or what? Did they prank him? Like
exactly.
You want to be gone for 10 years? I'll show you.
He got ribbed for sure. So Randy Orton is 43.
Okay.
CM Punk is 45.
Yep.
AJ Styles is 46 years old.
So he's got a year on him. Interesting. And that, yeah.
Someone, he needs to be in shape.
Tell you what, I'm 47, so he looks great to me now. I'll tell you what, I would never be out there wrestling that 2 years ago. Not a chance.
Exactly. Someone else, Jimmy, that is in great shape anytime he comes back is our boy Bill Goldberg.
Uh-oh.
Now, Bill Goldberg had something to say to Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Bill Goldberg calls out Vince McMahon and calls him a piece of crap. And that's the censored version for not providing him with a retirement match, Jimmy. Now, allegedly, so Bill Goldberg came back and put Roman Reigns over at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. And the reason he did that is because Vince McMahon promised Bill Goldberg a retirement match in front of his family, and he never got it. So Bill Goldberg, that last Saudi Arabia match, which was in February 2022, was his last match. And I quote, he says, I owe McMahon everything until we went to Saudi Arabia and he asked me to put Roman Reigns over, and I had COVID. I remember calling him from my house and said, listen, here is the deal. I'll do it if you give me a retirement match. And I did what he asked. As a performer, I was 56 years old. As a human being, you're conscientious about how conscientious.
Yeah, just conscious.
Conscious about how you look in a bathing suit, especially 2 months prior to being in a bathing suit. You couldn't work out because you had COVID. I put myself in a horribly crappy situation to get what I wanted to, but I salute him and give him what he wanted. The retirement match had never happened, and I lost to Roman Reigns. Turned out to be the final appearance of Bill Goldberg's WWE contract. Thoughts, Jimmy?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying you had a comment. You've been promoting this on TikTok, and thank you for doing that. You've been doing a really good job on that stuff. And someone had mentioned, like, who cares about the behind the scenes stuff? Like,
that's true. I did see that comment. Yeah,
and like, we care. Like, we care. This is a great example of like, we care about what happens behind the scenes. Like, is this a matter of like next time just make sure? Like, if I was dealing with Vince McMahon and the history, and I don't even know, just the stuff I've read and stories I've heard, if I want something from him, it's going to be, and I'm a wrestler, it better be in paper, like, and it better
Mm-hmm.
be written out and signed on paper. And
Facts.
this was just like a phone call deal or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you would have. So I don't ever think of Vince McMahon as like a man of his word type of guy. I just don't. Like I feel like he's had to do some shiesty dealings to get to where he was,
Mm-hmm.
um and just kind of not be a very nice guy. And so I would have wanted it in writing. Bill Goldberg has his rumblings too. Or here we go to talking about all behind the scenes stuff again. Like, um, he's never been the most likable guy, and like I guess he has a history of hurting wrestlers and stuff, and not being very careful when in the
Mm-hmm.
ring. And so just like both of them together just don't seem like the best guys. So I'm like,
Facts.
am I mad at? Am I mad? No, I'm not mad. Like Goldberg, like you should have been nicer, and you should have got it in writing. And Vince McMahon, like you should have let Triple H decide if there was going to be, or
Exactly.
let him be the one decide if there's going to be a retirement match or not. And then is it because of Triple H that there wasn't one? Like he's kind of running the things now. Like, is
Or
there
maybe
more
people,
to it than just Vince?
allegedly also they say Bill Goldberg might go to AEW, but who wants to see Bill Goldberg in 2023 or 2024 now? Nobody.
I do.
You
Because
do?
I have an old jersey of his for sale on my eBay store, and so him coming back would help that. And
What
no, I
jersey?
agree.
Like a Bill Goldberg jersey or an
A
Atlanta
vintage,
Falcons Bill Goldberg jersey?
no, it's a vintage WCW.
Okay.
Like it's just a baseball
What size
jersey.
is it?
I'd have to check. I got it listed really high.
It's not a 2X, is it?
I don't. It might be. I don't know. I will have to check.
Okay. Okay.
It's a rare jersey. Like it has the old WCW patch on it, and it's spelled out Goldberg.
Like a football jersey or like a
It's
baseball
a baseball jersey.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I agree with you. Like I never really liked Goldberg in the first place. I like guys that can talk on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that's like a
CM
very
Punk.
important thing. Yeah, that's. And here we go to talking about
MJF.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can't remember his name, and I call it, and I still like him. Like if you can't talk on the mic, it's painful for me. Like I want guys that are good on the mic, and ladies that are like I want them to be able to pick up the mic and know what to do. Like like the man. Like she gets that. Like I like when someone can talk on the mic, and so Goldberg was never that guy, and that's why I've never been a big Brock Lesnar fan. You have to give him Paul Heyman just to get over in any kind of way. And so, for me, Goldberg it's not a big deal at all. Like I don't need to see him at all. Like I don't need to come in here and see him come in and win a match in 5 seconds and walk right back out and act like it's some amazing thing like they used to do with him.
Who do you think? Just kind of straying paths a little bit. Who do you think is the best person on the mic in the WWE currently right now?
I love that question. I'm gonna have to think about that. Like obviously the first name that comes to mind is LA Knight, but it's kind of like a like I said,
it's the same. I would say
thing.
I would venture to say it would be a tie between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is really good. Yeah, those are two really good ones. Yeah, I don't know. I think some guys struggle. I think Kevin Owens is good in a more of a not so hyped way.
Yeah,
he's really
like
good.
Sami Zayn,
and then that's a tough one. That's why Roman Reigns he's not the best. That's why he has Paul Heyman with him too right now, because he's the face, but he's not the best on the mic. And maybe that's part of why I think that he's not as big, because he's not that great on the mic. And to me, that's important. To me, being able to talk smack is huge. I'm trying to think of there's right now, though, I think you nailed it. I mean, Seth Rollins is probably the best. It's a different style. It's more that Ric Flair showboat style. but it's interesting. It's interesting because he's kind of got that showboat Ric Flair style, but he's also like a good guy. He's not a heel, so it's a little different there.
He can go either way. I think he can go heelish and babyface.
Yeah. So is babyface the term for a good guy? Is that the term,
face.
like a heel?
Yeah.
Okay, babyface.
And next week, Jimmy, I would love to go over just wrestling terms, maybe that people don't know or what they are. That's like going over, heat, face, heel. Like all these terms that we say and we assume that people know.
Right.
But
like
work, shoot, like all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Man, you got me thinking, like when we're done here, I'm gonna come up with a better list of.
Let's do this. Let's pull up the WWE roster.
And that's fun. Like to me, that's fun. Let's talk about that TikTok comics got me work because this stuff is so important to me. Like I want someone that can grab that microphone and tell you what's up. That's what separates
the professional wrestler from the WWE superstar.
I agree totally. That's why I want to hear what Dominic has to say because I don't even know. I don't even know if he's any good at it. I'm guessing
Logan Paul's pretty good on the mic too.
Yeah, Logan Paul's really good.
Yeah. So of course, Seth Rollins, he's good. Rhea's good. Roman's average. We have Gunther, which is a great wrestler. I would say he's average as well.
Yeah, he's got a different character, right?
Yeah. Dragunov, he's not bad. I feel he's not bad.
NXT,
yeah, NXT, Laura, she's okay. Dragon Lee's okay. These guys, this is an enjoyable gimmick. It's like a very the mafioso style.
Mafioso.
Dude, it's good. It's
Channing
a good gimmick.
Stacks Lorenzo.
Yes.
Tony D'Angelo. I got
yes.
I don't watch a lot of NXT, so these are kind of new names to me.
Yeah, great
all right.
Yeah, great gimmick there. So AJ Styles, I say he's decent.
Okay.
Akira Tozawa, which is a little
crazy.
Of course, he can barely speak English. Dude, Alexa Bliss, I miss her so much. I would think that she's probably the best women's wrestler on the microphone.
All right.
One of the best. So she's hurt. Or not hurt. She just had a baby.
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah.
That's a reason not to be wrestling right now.
Yeah. Adam Chase, he's not bad. He's NXT guy. Angelo Dawkins, he's not good. Apollo's not good as well. NXT guys. What do you think about Austin Theory?
He's good. He's like
he might be the next guy.
Yeah, it's the character right now, right? Like it's got to be. It's got to go to another level. But yeah, he's definitely good. Yeah.
Yeah. We have here Ava. This is The Rock's daughter. You know this, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
And NXT, The Rock's daughter.
I think I've seen some promos of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she plays this like weird, I don't know, like a dark character. Nobody cares about BFAB or Baron Corbin. I don't even know how Baron Corbin is still employed. Bailey's not bad. Not bad. Becky's good. Yeah, Bianca is terrible on the microphone. That I think is what's holding her back from being a good superstar.
I'm telling you.
Big E's okay.
Yeah,
Blair Davenport, she's okay. She's a new signee. She was actually one of the people that came over from AEW. Really good women's wrestler.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley's, he's not good. Of course, LA Knight.
No, LA Knight.
He's Braun Strowman is still employed with the WWE. How did I not know that? Yeah. This is the guy that you were talking about. The big boy, Bryson Reed.
Yeah. Yep. He can wrestle.
Yeah.
Right.
Butch.
The Creed brothers are new. They're not talking much.
Cameron Grimes. He's pretty good. Carlito, Carmella.
Yeah,
Carmella just had a baby too.
Now?
Yeah.
Carlito's got to be old. He's part of the LW. He's mixed with LW. Chad
Let's see
Gable. Hey,
here.
I don't.
Chad
I'm not hating on.
Gable. I like
I'm not
Chad
hating.
Gable.
Yep.
Chelsea Green can do a good promo. If she like that character she has now,
Yeah.
she used to play a character on TNA called the Hot
Chelsea.
Mess. Chelsea Green. So she had this like weird gimmick. Hot Mess Chelsea Green. And dude, it was like unhinged, like Joker-esque gimmick.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll bring it up some other time.
You got Charlotte Flair on the screen right now.
Charlotte Flair, yeah.
I'm not a fan
She's
of
not great.
No.
She's not great.
There's
She's always
really
says she does have like, I feel like she has some confidence issues. She's getting better, but she's still not great on the microphone.
There's two really, really good ones right there.
Yeah.
Two of the best.
This match.
Yeah.
That's talk about WrestleMania main event. That's a good WrestleMania main event.
It's so crazy because Cody Rhodes, I remember when he first started, like I was like, this kid's never gonna make it. Now he's huge.
Cora Jade, she's okay. Damian Priest, I would say he's okay.
I think Damian Priest has potential. I think he's older now too, right? Yes, I don't even know.
You ever seen fat Damian Priest?
No.
He's lost a ton of weight. He used to be huge. Yes.
I didn't know that.
He used to be really big.
That's why. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up now. Maybe I could go as fat Damian Priest for Halloween.
Right. Drew McIntyre. What do you think about his promo?
I told you I hate the character.
Okay.
Hate his character. That's it, though. And is his character who he is, and they need to give him a better gimmick? I don't know. I think Finn Balor is pretty good.
He's pretty good. Grayson Waller.
Yep.
It's funny how some people can just talk.
Yep.
Like The Miz. The Miz is a good promo too.
Yeah, yeah. Who's the guy up top that we were talking about? That he's kind of in the same boat as Grayson Waller right now. He's like, what are we talking
about?
Go further back up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I think he's paired up with him right now too.
Oh, we're talking about Austin Theory.
Austin Theory, yeah. Those two guys, maybe it's because they're paired up, but they kind of are in the same boat for me, like as far as where they're at. Ivar, that's the other big guy that can wrestle. Now, he's very athletic for his size. Here's your
boy JD. What's wrong with his head, man?
Don't get me started on JD McDonough. They were showing the highlights on Monday night or whatever of the year, and watching him get his butt kicked, I was enjoying every second of that.
Johnny Gargano's okay. John Cena's a goat. He's a goat on the microphone.
Yeah, yeah. See, it is Julius Creed. Julius Creed, I think he's going to be a big time wrestler. He's so athletic.
But what about the microphones, the mic skills?
Yeah, we don't know yet. Like, we just don't even know. But here's one that bothers. I want to ask you about these two guys.
Okay.
Because I don't like. I just don't even know. Like, I think they're good, but they just say the same thing over and over again. And that's the Usos. I don't know if I like the Yeet and the
Yeet.
And what's the other thing they say? Oos or whatever.
Oose's brother and Samoan.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
I think they just say a little too much. Yeah. Like they kind of use those things a little too. But I think they're good on the mic. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, especially Jay. That whole Jay separating from like that was like put that in any movie, man, and it's gonna sell.
Right.
So we're okay. So Karrion Kross had a promo during SmackDown, like a video thing. And so he's coming back with his wife Scarlett. And he mentioned something about authors of something. And I think there used to be some wrestlers called Authors of Pain, Jimmy. Cool. I don't know if you know.
That's a great name. I know that.
Authors of Pain was a tag team wrestling duo. They had a manager as well in NXT. They moved up to the main roster and they ended up floundering a little bit. So I think they're bringing them back. This is Authors of Pain right here. So we might see another faction.
Oh, okay. Who's? Oh, I know that guy. He's. What's his name?
I don't know. I
The
don't
one
know
on
the
the
guy's
left, right
name.
there. Maybe it's not who I think it is.
Yeah. So this is Authors of Pain.
So they have like a SWAT look to them, like they're a
Yeah.
SWAT team. So you think they're
So
coming back, or they?
I think they're coming back, and then he's going to join a group. They're going to be in a new stable with
Oh, that's what he means by
Karrion Kross as the leader.
okay.
So
That
I'll be
that's interesting.
another heel faction, if you will. Of course, KO's an OG. He's great on the mic. Kofi's good. LA Knight, we know he's good. Lexus King.
Who
Do you
is
know who
Lex?
Lexus
I
King
have
is?
no idea. But he looks
Lexus
like
King
a reseller that I know.
is gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Does he have
Brian Pillman's son.
Oh, Brian. Oh, okay, Brian Pillman. Yep.
Brian Pillman's son.
I
So
can
he was
see
at
it.
AEW, and then he came back, and then he went by something Pillman in AEW, and now he changed his name to Lexus King.
Okay. That's so crazy.
So let's see here.
Yeah, I don't.
Maurice is still employed, but why the WWE?
It's pretty crazy. I think there's first of all, I'm finding out there's way more people on the roster than I thought.
Yeah.
But I think that Nia Jax, she's not terrible.
She's not terrible.
But I think that they are missing a lot of microphone talent.
You're right. That's the
Otis
thing.
is another big. Oh, Otis is another big guy that can wrestle.
I love Otis. I love me some Otis. Here's the thing
Archer.
about
Archer.
there is an issue when you get, here's the issue. Okay, Jimmy, we're gonna get deep into this.
We're gonna get
this is
break
definitely
it down
like
for us, right? Because I'm
this
just
is the
talking
CM Punk. Like, if this is what the WWE, they don't think about this stuff. They think that they can train people to talk, but if you get people straight out of college with this incredible athletic ability and they can do anything in the ring, but once you give them a microphone, they're like deer in headlights. That's a problem.
Yep,
right.
For sure.
And then you have people like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, CM Punk that have been wrestling and fine-tuning their craft since they were 16 years old. And Rhea Ripley coming up in the independent wrestling scene and working in front of a live crowd to know what they need to do. But they don't like picking people like that because they don't have the look. Look at CM Punk. So what would you rather have, Jimmy?
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. Look at the people that we named off.
Some of the biggest names weren't crap for actually wrestling in the ring. Like they were not good technical wrestlers. They had the worst finishing moves. Like, I'll take that. I will take Hulk Hogan.
You'll take
Hulk Hogan had the build too. So
that is true.
Hulk Hogan was a terrible wrestler, right? Like he was not a good wrestler at all. He was just great he was the best on the mic. I'll take that. I don't know. I mean, like, I remember watching like a Dean Malenko. You remember Dean Malenko?
Of course.
And like, snooze fest for me, bud. Like watching, like, he would just come out with his towel over him and just didn't want to say a word, all serious, go in there, do this technical wrestling match, and then he'd walk out without saying anything. Snooze fest for me, bud.
Snooze. It's boring, right?
Yeah.
Wonder why this is vacant. This is a weird little.
But then you take a guy like Mr. Perfect, who could technically wrestle and could also was great on the mic. Man, give me that guy any day, like any day, like that. I remember when Mr. Perfect showed up on the scene. Like, I hated him, but he was so good at it, man. He was so good.
Yeah, but that's. I don't think they're realizing that. They forget about that, and they want to teach these kids, and sometimes it's falling short. And then, right now we see every big superstar right now currently on the main roster. There was like this weird like resurgence during NXT. All of them were there at the same time. Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky, Seth, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all these superstars, and they had one thing in common, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
They all took promo class from the best promo that probably ever in the wrestling history. Rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes. Which
right. Makes sense.
So I think you needed that.
And so my question is like, maybe I'm naive. I don't understand. Like, how is this not a bigger? Like, they're not even putting effort into this at all. Like,
I'm sure they are, but I don't think they realize how important it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I compare it to, like, we talked about the movie The Iron Claw. Like when I watched The Iron Claw, like I said, the amount of emotions that I felt while watching that movie, and like, again, I didn't care if I don't. Now that I'm older and I want to feel emotion when I'm watching something. That goes same for when there's a feud going on in wrestling. I want the heel to make me hate him, and I want the baby face to make me want to root for him, even though I probably end up rooting for the heel. Like but I want them to be doing a good job of making that happen. Like, I don't know that I know for a fact I wouldn't watch wrestling if there wasn't that buildup. If they just said, "Oh, these two guys don't like each other, they're going to wrestle now."
Exactly, which that's exactly what AEW is doing.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Why do I care that they're wrestling?
Yeah,
they gotta make
don't
me care.
Yeah, man, it's such an important part to me. And
yeah,
I know I feel like what they're doing is like they've always done this. They'll pair them with somebody. That's probably what the groups are for. Like, let's put Dom with these guys to help him get better, even though he never gets a chance to talk. But I think it definitely has to be I think it's the most important thing. I think it's, I mean, knowing how to wrestle is important, but if you can't talk, you're eventually going to hit a wall. You're eventually going to get slowed down.
I mean, just prime example. You really don't have to do a lot in the ring to get people to care. It all is like leading up to.
Yep.
I mean, just that the thing that I think about the most when I think about that is WrestleMania match, Icon versus Icon, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm wearing a Hollywood Hulk Hogan shirt right now. They just like stood in the ring and watched, like looked at each other, and the crowd was just going like nuts.
Right. Yeah, they were both looking at each other like, yeah, I don't know how to wrestle either. Do you?
It's like,
we'll figure it out.
Doesn't matter what you do in the ring.
Yep.
I mean, you just got to get the crowd. You got to get them to care. Yep.
Yeah, you got to. If you can come up with a catchy finishing move and you can just not hurt anybody, and you can bounce off a rope like John Cena or The Rock, like, you don't have to go from the top rope. You don't have to do suplexes and then pick up right back to your feet. Like, you don't have to. You can put someone in the corner and slap them on the chest a couple times, and like that. There's wrestlers that have made careers out of doing nothing special, but they could talk. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I prefer. 100%. I want that guy.
There you go. Speaking of The Rock, Jimmy, rumor has it that The Rock may be coming back to the WWE. They want him for Elimination Chamber in Australia.
Ooh.
And the rumors were going around, and then The Rock tweets out, he was at some sort of Make-A-Wish thing, so he tweeted out Jaden, which he was talking about Jaden, which is a 15-year-old Make-A-Wish. He said Jaden's wish was to meet the People's Champ. He's a huge Rock and professional wrestling fan. He had a blast chopping it up with his favorite wrestlers and matches. I love pro wrestling, so my time with Jaden was super dope. I told him a little secret that may or may not involve some dude returning to the WWE to lay the smackdown on their candy asses. There's a lot of negative and toxic noise out in this world, but there's a lot of positive, good things too, and Jaded is one of them. So,
Yeah. That would be awesome. I mean,
you think The Rock will come back?
I don't know why he would, but I hope he does. I mean, if he, I know why, because he said he loves wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, other than the love for it, I don't know why he would, but I would love. Yeah, I want him back. I mean, he's one of my favorites. He has to be, because to me, that's the GOAT on the mic. Like, that is the number one GOAT on the. He's right there. You know, Ric Flair, him. But to me, based on what I saw, and my teenage years and that guy, so good.
There you go. Another thing, Jimmy, and this will be the last. Well, I got one more, real quick. Madison, they had the show at Madison Square Garden with CM Punk's return, broke attendance records. Jimmy, this has been the highest grossing non-televised wrestling event to date.
Wow. So that's the one that CM Punk just made his debut back to the wrestling.
Correct. Non-televised wrestling event.
Wow. And where was it held?
Madison Square Garden.
Well, that's
New York.
Her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I know that we were talking about last week on how the overall professional wrestling temperature, wrestling is as hottest as it's ever been.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep. I mean, it's got me back. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a lot of good. I think WWE is doing a lot of right things right now. Yeah, I mean, and I think I want them to come up with that household name again, though. I want that household name wrestler.
Speaking of a household I would say this is a household wrestling name, especially after all the memes. Randy Orton, RKO.
What memes? I haven't seen them.
RKO. It wasn't like recent, but all the RKO memes.
I don't know about them.
You don't know about all the? It was probably
what's an RKO meme?
RKO is especially RKO is Randy's initials.
Yeah.
But that's his finishing move.
Right.
Which is basic. The meme is just like people randomly coming up on people at random spots and giving them the RKO.
Oh, dude, I RKO my dogs all the time. Wait a minute. My French Bulldog and my pug, they get RKO'd all the time. Okay.
And then you have the sound behind it, like watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, and then all of a sudden RKO. Now you're gonna start getting a bunch of RKO memes, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's awesome. From you.
Yeah, from me, exactly.
When my kids were little, and my youngest son probably remembers this, but we used to play wrestling all the time, and I remember I'd rock bottom them. All the time. They'd be run at me, and they'd come running and go. And I'd go rock bottom. I'd pick them up and boom on the bed, of course, and I'd rock bottom them all the time. So
every time I see my nephew, I give him a super kick.
A super kick.
Well, of course I don't hit him, but the funny thing is,
I can't super kick to save my life.
So I take my left hand, so I kick him with my right leg. Yeah. And so I take my left hand, which if you notice, wrestlers, what they'll do when they extend the leg, they'll take their left hand and they'll slap their thigh.
Yep.
So it sounds like.
Yep.
And so I do that, and he thinks he's like, do it again. You know.
That's why when I pretend like I punch my kids, I stomp my foot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, that's fun. I used to rock bottom my kids all the time. They love
I might have to do that to my nephew.
Rock bottom, just pick them up and
slam them on the ground. So speaking of Randy Orton, Jimmy, they were thinking about changing Randy Orton's entrance music on Friday, and they played it during the before the show, and they scrapped it and went back to the original voices.
I hear voices in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but they were going to change it.
There's this new it's the new fad in wrestling. And I like it. singing along to the music. It
Yeah.
happens in AEW, and now it happens in WWE, and I like it. I actually enjoy it. And
Mm-hmm.
his song isn't the best to sing along with. So my question is, do we know what that other song was? What it sounds like? Is
We
it
don't.
something? Because I really enjoy when Seth Rollins and even what's the
Uh-huh.
name, Shinsuke Nakamura, like there are people, and then
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
Well,
I love it
When Cody left initially WWE, he used it's a real song. So he used that song at the indies and all that stuff, and it
right
took 4 years for people to catch on and start singing it.
singing along. Yeah,
Yeah.
if they could come up with a song, but like you said, it would take so long for it to catch on. Like nothing. But if they came up with the perfect song for Randy Orton that for people to sing along with, I'd be on board. But I'm not on board because it would take way too long. Like
You can't
that
change
doesn't happen overnight.
you can change that song.
Yeah, yeah.
Not now.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely iconic. It represents him. Like when I hear it, right? How. But I think that I'm saying like I think that would be half to what they're trying to do. Like give him a song that's more of a that's
Mm.
like if I was a wrestler, I'd want people to sing along with my song. Like that's so awesome when like here's just boring Shinsuke Nakamura coming out, but everybody's singing along to his song. Like everybody is singing that tune to his song. And so, and then like even Chris Jericho over in AEW, people sing along to that song like crazy.
And that's his song, which is even better.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
I got to see Chris Jericho and gosh, I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of his band?
Oh, I don't. I've seen it. I've seen it on TikTok actually.
But I saw them here in Nashville in like a little place.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Huh.
Judas?
Yeah.
No, that's the name of the song.
That's
Fozzy.
Fozzie's the name of the band?
Yeah,
Fozzie Bear?
FOZZY. Yeah. Fozzy.
I would have never got that right.
Yeah. So Jimmy, last thing on the agenda, let's talk about the Royal Rumble Elite card.
Yeah, so right there's some of your spoilers that we were talking about.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I didn't even think about that. So this is what the leaked card says.
Yep.
It doesn't show who wins or who doesn't win on just the regular card, but it has first matchup, the Women's Royal Rumble, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. So that is the spoiler. Io Sky versus Shotzi. Nobody cares for that match. No. Judgment Day versus the Creed Brothers. I think that would be a good match.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, and then the Men's Royal Rumble match. So that is the order, but it doesn't show who wins. And so let's look at the first Royal Rumble lineup for the women's. So first entry here, Jimmy, is Becky Lynch.
So this is entry order too.
Entry order, Becky Lynch at number 1, then Nia Jax, and then you see the highlighted in red is the Raw opponents, and then the SmackDown opponents, and number 9 we have Tiffany Stratton at NXT, and then we have an unbranded Deonna Purrazzo, which I believe is, let me double check this. Huh? Unbranded, exactly.
Well, I'm confused by that.
She is, what am I trying to say, Jimmy? She's an a AEW wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. AEW, and then I know she was an Impact for a while. So really great women's wrestler. So we'll know for sure if she'll make her appearance at AEW or not, which I don't think anybody is really asking for her to be there. But she is an experienced women's wrestler, so again, she'll be somebody that could really beef up the women's division.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's what it says. Deonna Purrazzo at number 11, which that's why it says unbranded on there,
Okay.
Jimmy. So
Interesting.
number 11, just some highlights here. At number 15, it says Bailey, and then in parentheses, winner.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts
Spoiler?
on that, Jimmy?
I don't want to be spoiled on the other one then.
You know what? Well, we don't know. You know what's funny, Jimmy? I feel like sometimes WWE puts out these on purpose
Just to
to just
mess with.
kind of get the overall temperature of what
Yeah,
people would think, people say, or what people think.
I like Bailey. My wife, that's one of my wife, because she's sitting there while I'm watching. She likes Bailey, so that's why I think she's good on the mic, because my wife would recognize her and thinks that she's good on the mic as well. Um, so I think that's interesting. Like that's an interesting choice. Like I think, I mean, my first thing is if she wins it, it'll break up her little group, and then they'll all come after her for the title. Like they'll all,
Exactly. So I
yeah,
think that's probably where it's because EO, or she has the title.
right. So I think they'll be mad at her, and then she'll come after the title. And yeah, I think that's what. Yeah. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
I would think that would be because there's already some like signs that things aren't like they've joked around. It's almost like they joke around with her that she's not part of the group and stuff. And so I think that would be what ultimately would end the group, and then she would go after the title.
Okay. Which is not bad. You know, I think
Yeah.
that group is kind of floundering a little bit. I have no.
Huh. Even has like runner up Sasha Banks.
Exactly. So she'll be, and then that's another surprise entry at
Yeah,
number
that would be
30,
that surprise. Yeah.
Sasha Banks,
Wow. But not winning it.
but not winning it. But
Now,
second, but Sasha Banks and Bailey have a history together in
okay.
NXT.
All right. Yeah, that would, well, then that would change everything that I just said.
Yeah. And
I
then
didn't see that.
another unbranded person that just came over from AEW that has not made their in-ring debut yet is Jade Cargill. And when you think of China,
Oh,
this
yeah. Yeah.
woman is an absolute superstar, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You talk superstar, I think she's going to be the next.
That would be, yeah. Dang, she is built.
She
Good
looks
night.
like a superstar.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. All right. Man, those
She
leaked
can
cards.
talk on the mic too.
She's good on the mic.
She's good on the
That's
mic. She's just a
all
little
right.
green in the ring.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. That's what the women's division needs right now. Um, Back to this leaked cards, like
Yeah,
man, I feel like the WWE would have to, like you said, either they knew about it and they just want to get a feel, or they're seeing what's going on and they got to be like, all right, we got to change some things up a little bit.
exactly. So let's take
I
it.
don't want.
Let's take a look at the men's card,
All
Jimmy.
right, let's do it.
All right,
I
first
didn't look at
entry,
this closely
Jay Uso. All right,
right off the bat.
right off the bat, and number 6, X Pac. Thoughts?
Wait, what?
At number 6, X Pac.
All right, can he still wrestle?
I mean, he
I
doesn't
mean,
have to do much at in a Royal
yeah,
Rumble match.
that's
So we'll know if this is legit or not
right.
with that entry.
Yeah, if he's in there, that's wild. Yeah, like what music are they gonna play for him? Are they gonna be like the 1 2? What do you call the 1 2 3 kid?
Yeah. So here's something, Jimmy, that I don't know what to think of, is, which I guess it makes sense. CM Punk winning at number 28.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's getting a day off and he's gonna win.
CM Punk winning, and then runner up Cody Rhodes. Is Cody going to finish the story? Is he gonna like? I guess CM Punk can wrestle Seth, and then Cody can wrestle Roman. But how are we gonna get Cody to wrestle Roman?
I don't know, man. I don't even.
There's a rumor, and I wanted to talk about this, and I'll touch on it right now, but I really want to dive into this topic on our next episode, Jimmy. So cliffhanger here, guys. So there is another rumor out there, Jimmy, that they want Roman Reigns to keep the belt through WrestleMania and beat Hulk Hogan's record of holding the belt for how many consecutive days.
Interesting.
Which, if that is the case, that would suck so bad for Cody. Because last year he was supposed to win. This year he's supposed to win.
And then he won't win at WrestleMania, yeah.
If he even gets a chance to wrestle Roman at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'd rather him not wrestle Roman and get the chance next year. Or I don't know. And sometimes WWE puts this stuff out there because we already know that if they wrestle, it's a done deal. Cody's going to win. But now we have like that doubt in our head. Well, Cody might not win because WWE might want Roman to keep
now
the belt.
I'm starting to say I don't care about the behind the scenes stuff, and I don't want to because I think I made it. I don't dislike Roman Reigns. I just don't like him as the champion. I think it's been overdone. I'm ready for a fun champion, like an exciting, fun champion.
I think Cody can be that champion. I think Cody can be that champion.
Yeah, for sure. I like
he
Cody.
He can play a great baby face, and then he can kill it as a heel champion when it's time.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what kind of pushes, like we talked about, what is CM Punk? Like, is he going to win Rollins? Is he going to win the title from Rollins? Like, I don't know.
He gets to choose which title he wants to go after.
Right. I think that's why they're building the Rollins feud then. Right off the bat. I think he'll go after Rollins. And so
day one, WrestleMania day one, Rollins versus Punk. Day two, Cody versus Roman.
That'd be cool. Yeah. But then you also got, where does Randy Orton fall in there? Because he's getting a push. Yeah. He's getting a push he's wrestling Roman Reigns. So that means
Will he win? I guess he'll lose.
Yeah.
Right? But then
unless he wins,
and then you got AJ and then LA Knight. And
it's interesting, man. I'll say they're doing a good job of making us guess. But I'm usually, I'm not a fan of people losing the belt fast, but man, I'm ready for Roman Reigns to lose the belt. I want something exciting.
Okay. It's kind of gone stale a little bit in your opinion.
Yeah, I feel, man, if I have to see Paul Heyman go one more time, I might come through the screen.
What do you think about these leaked cards, Jimmy? Do you think they're legit? Because anybody can do this.
Yeah,
right?
anybody. Yeah, and it looks just like an Excel spreadsheet.
It's an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. But we'll find. I think I'm going to say I'm not buying it, and then it's going to be 100% accurate. That's what I think. That's my luck.
So who do you have?
I think it should never happen, though. I don't think this should be under lock and key in Triple H's office, and there should be meetings, and that should never be leaked ever. There should be no possible way that it should be leaked. In my opinion, I think they should do everything they can to keep it.
But the card's always subject to change, even up to the day of.
Yeah. And I would imagine if they are real and they're spreading around social media, I'll message Triple H after we're done here and let him know.
Let him know.
Because I got his phone number like that. I'll just message him and say, "Hey, you need to change the card because it's swirling."
Yeah, it's swirling, and I think they might do that on purpose.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because just kind of get the temperature of what people are saying.
Hyped, get people excited, and then people
pissed off, or
yeah. And then, like you said,
Create
based on
buzz.
reactions, they can make some changes. Yeah, I mean, that would be, I guess, that would be a good strategy. That would be a good, from a business standpoint, to get an idea of what people want. What I don't want is I don't mind that. I'm going to use the word that you're not supposed to. I don't mind that wrestling is predetermined, fixed,
predetermined,
but I also don't want to know. Like when I watch a match, I don't want to know who's going to win. I don't want to know in advance. So thanks a lot, Ray.
Hey,
I'm just playing.
Wasn't me. It was the leaker. The leaker. The leaker.
Yeah, I hope it's not 100% accurate.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, that's all we got for this week's show here at the Pedigree Pro Wrestling Podcast.
I am ready for some wrestling next week.
There we go. It's going to be a good one next week for sure.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you on another episode of
Pedigree.
Pedigree.
A pro wrestling podcast.
See y'all.